Hey mamas, it's Anita here from zthewham.com, and today I want to talk about teaching our children about Black history. It's something that should be talked about not just for Black History Month, but just year round because it is considered American history, but unfortunately it is not seen that way. So if you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about faith, family, parenting, preschool, and pretty much all things motherhood. Talking about African American history with our children really doesn't have to be something that is a struggle or intense. It really can be an inviting, great thing for our kids to just be curious about. And one of the best ways we can teach our children about Black history is by reading books. I actually want to start this by reading some comments from a blog post I wrote. I wrote a blog post of children's books to read for Black history. And I just had a few people that commented that really impacted me just from what their thoughts were. So Calvonia, I believe that's how you say her name, she said, "Thank you for this timely post. I'm passing your list to my adult children for my grandchildren and will also let the young people at my church know. Our history, this history is our history. It is American history. It must be shared." And that's one of the biggest things for me and my family is that Black History Month is really not a month, and it really shouldn't just be a month. It's really American history. But unfortunately, many schools are not talking about it or not teaching our children about the many people who made numerous of sacrifices for them to walk in freedom and to be able to go to school with different races of people. So as the parents, it really is our duty to teach our children from home. And again, the easiest way is to start by reading books and shows and different things like that. And I just want to read a couple more comments. Oh yeah, so Jen says, "These are great. Thanks for your suggestions. I want to have a day this month where I talk about it with my kiddos to some capacity, but I don't really know where to start." And I totally can understand where Jen is coming from, because Black History Month or just Black history in general can come across as this just topic where the kids aren't ready to hear about it, but it is history. It is something that children should be taught, I believe, at an earlier age, more so now than later. When I was growing up, thankfully, they did teach us about Black history, and it wasn't just for Black History Month. So children are eager to learn different things, and it's, for me and my family, it's like they can either learn it in a way where they may get their feelings hurt, or they can learn about those things now, as far as maybe someone not liking them because of their skin color. We never know what our kids will go through. They may go through a point of that and they may be like, well, why don't they like me because of that? You know what I'm saying? So, but if we start early and they understand that there was a time where many African Americans were hated because of the color of their skin, then they'll already have that in their minds that, hey, this possibly could happen, but that doesn't mean I have to retaliate. We actually just read one of the books on my list, the story of Ruby Bridges. This book is such a good book, and this little girl right here was such a little warrior. Ruby Bridges was such a brave little girl. Her and her family moved to a new state in hopes of finding freedom when actually they faced even more hate, sending their daughter Ruby to a school, all-white school in New Orleans, where she dealt with so much turmoil and hate from other students and parents not wanting her to go to school there. So this is a really good book of just perseverance and overcoming and faith. And they talk about a lot how they went to church and prayed, and you just can see that their faith is the only thing that got them through this hard time. So she made American history just by continuing to go to an all-white school when she even wasn't wanted there. So this is definitely a good book to read. It's something you can talk to your children about and explain why it was that way and why it's not that way anymore. So again, I just feel like children need to learn about these things early on. So one more comment I'll read that was really touching. Dawn says, "This is a huge list of books and I'm so excited to dive into them with my sons. It's so sad that Black history has been condensed to only a month of the year. Black history is American history and should be taught and represented all year long. And as a teacher who taught in a predominantly minority schools, it is so important for children to see themselves represented in history and on TV and movies in a positive way. I hope these books help children of all races and ethnicities learn how our differences can strengthen us and can lead us into a better society in the future." And Dawn is so right. Like, these books are just a blessing that we have access to. These books is a blessing because again, we can't relive what happened to our ancestors or to different people who went through so much, but we can relate to them by reading their stories. Another book I wanted to highlight is a girl named Misty. If you don't know Misty, her name is Misty Copeland. She's the first African American ballet dancer to become a principal dancer for the American Ballet Theater in New York City, which is a huge deal because they're part of the top 3 organizations for ballet. And my daughter is super into ballet, so for her to see someone of color succeed and get as far as she got, and she's still going, is a huge deal because I'm sure many of you know ballet is just known for not really accepting women of color because of our body types and shapes and sizes. So just children seeing someone of color succeed in that is really a huge deal. And so her auntie actually also got her a puzzle of a Black little girl doing ballet with the afro. I thought that was so cute. But they have more puzzles. This is from puzzlehuddle.com. I'll leave that below. And I really like their puzzles so far because they even have a Black Jesus on there. So we'll be getting more puzzles. But the main thing I'm saying here is just that with teaching Black history to our children, it doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to get so in depth to where we scare them about, what could possibly happen to them. But it's more so just letting them know what people of color did for them. And the easiest way is through these books. And if your child is into, let's say if your child is into airplanes, hey, let them learn about the Tuskegee Airmen. That's if they're into baseball, let them learn about Satchel Paige, who's known for his longevity in baseball. So, we can get creative on different ways to teach them, and it doesn't have to be complicated, difficult, daunting at all. And so far, my kids have really been enjoying learning about Black history, and we are really trying our best to just teach them year-round and not just in February. So if you want access to the list of books that I have on the blog post, I'll leave that link below. And you can also download a free list of Black History Month books. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of bright. But I have a whole list of books here that you can download for free. So I'll leave that below as well. So also for the blog post I wrote for these books to read for Black History or Black History Month, I also included books that will just build children up in who they are as individuals, as unique individuals as God created them. And so I actually have one book here that we like. It's called I Like Myself. And it's about a little girl who's just like super different, quirky, but at the same time, it's kind of funny because the pictures are really interesting to look at. They're very different. And she just talks about how she loves herself, how different she is inside out. And I believe this is very important for all children of all races to just accept who they are. And I would just encourage you to check this one out, and I think you'll enjoy it. So if you have any tips for teaching your children about Black history, please let me know in the comments. Please, no rude comments. This is not about a debate. This is simply about just coming together and helping each other be able to explain different things to our children about African Americans who have impacted our society. And so if you have anything you would like to share that's helpful, please share it in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.